This is the first time by a large, respected medical journal. This is the Lancet medical journal. This is perhaps the most respected medical journal in the Western world. And they don't put out articles like this willy-nilly. This is not, hey, we got a guest columnist. Who knows what the hell they're saying? Here it is. This is them putting a lot of effort and research into articles like this, into the numbers that they show. And here's what they are saying. They give a detailed analysis of counting the dead in Gaza since October 7th, counting the dead due to this Israeli genocide. They say 37,396 people have been killed in the Gaza Strip since the attack by Hamas in October 2023, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Now, hold on. That is not the end of the numbers, 37,396. And they say, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, but they also make an important point here. They say Gaza Health Ministry, which has been reported by the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, the Gaza Health Ministry's figures have been contested by Israeli authorities, although they've been accepted because they've always been proven accurate by Israeli intelligence services. So Israeli intelligence says these are the correct numbers. The UN has accepted them. The WHO has accepted these numbers. Every time these numbers are checked, they are accurate. The Lancet also says the data are supported by independent analyses comparing changes in the number of deaths of UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, staff with those reported by the ministry, which found claims of data fabrication and implausible, meaning there was not data fabrication. Okay, so 37,396. But as I brought to you just a few weeks ago, that number is far lower than the actual number of dead in Gaza because it only counts those killed by that we know that Gaza Health Ministry knows were killed by bombs. It does not count those killed by disease caused by this genocide, those killed by lack of water due to this genocide, those killed by famine due to this genocide. It does not count any of that. And the Lancet goes on to say this. They say the UN estimates that 35% of buildings in the Gaza Strip have been destroyed. So the number of bodies still buried under the rubble is likely substantial, maybe more than 10,000. All right, so you add in that 10,000, you're now at 47,400, okay? But we still haven't talked about the famine and disease. The total death toll is expected to be large given the intensity of the conflict. Destroyed healthcare infrastructure. They avoid saying destroyed by Israel, bombed by Israel. Severe shortages of food, water, and shelter. The population's inability to flee to safe places and the loss of funding to UNRWA, one of the few humanitarian organizations. In recent conflicts, such indirect deaths range from 3 to 15 times the number of direct deaths. So what they're doing here, and I'll get to what number they say is more accurate, but what they're doing here is you look at other conflicts, you look at what we did in Iraq, you look at what we did in what we're doing in Ukraine, you look at what we did in Afghanistan, you look at what we did in Libya, and we know that the indirect deaths, meaning not hit by a bomb, is somewhere between 3 and 15 times as much as the direct deaths. So they then say applying a conservative estimate of 4 indirect deaths, that's not anywhere near the 15, per 1 direct death to the 37,000 reported, it's not implausible to estimate that there are 86,000 dead Palestinians in Gaza due to Israel's genocide. 180,000. And again, that is taking almost the lowest number of indirect to direct that is plausible. If you were to do 15 times, and I know good with the mathies, so I'm going to type it in. If you were to do the top side of the indirect deaths and look at that number, it would mean that there are, because they said in some conflicts, it's 15 times indirect to direct deaths. If that's what we're looking at in Gaza right now, then there'd be 550,000 dead. Now, I don't think it's that top number, but it could be well over 187. The minimum, 180,000. The minimum that have been killed by Israel's genocide is 180,000, really. And this needs to be repeated again and again and again. And one of the only big names that I've seen saying this very much is Ralph Nader. And I covered it back when he said it. Again, this is not just them saying, I bet it's a lot. This is them taking the most conservative estimate of how many have been murdered by Israel since October 7th. 180,000 people. And it's just it's so fucking disgusting. It's so fucking disgusting.